afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. With me, a host, Imperial Dame. We're off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on Crossing in the Woods. Yes, indeed, we're back to that particular crossing. We shall be watching Runtothesun here, fighting for the Soviet Union, the Soviet peoples, and Comrade Stalin taking up the role here of the 25th Guard Survival Corps tasked with holding up this river crossing, as a full-on mechanized corps is ready to arrive and push its way through. And meanwhile, trying to take it back and ensure the Russians won't have an easy crossing is Fortune here, fighting for Germany, for the Reich, and taking on the role here of the 3rd SS Panzer Division Totenkopf, assembling whatever men can be assembled and thrown at the enemy in a slightly coherent fashion. We're also noting he's immediately posting up the right hand side here, going for the fuel point there. We're noting a bit more western centre focus here, and we're also noting a special rifle command up, and he's going straight off for snipers. That does not bode well. Whoever's going to be caught in the scopes of said snipery fellow. So pretty heavy handed push there. We're seeing some comets moving over there. They will certainly be in for a bit of a nasty surprise there from the soldiers of Germany. And we're noting there's some additional full secondaries arriving here for Fortune. Moving out through the grass. Point there secured. There you go. First engagement of these two parties versus the combat engineers. Quite a few shots they're going down there. The assault rifles tearing through Boris, leaving him quite dead in the middle of the road. With the sniper though here moving up for Runtothesun. Following up with a scout car, the M3A1. American Lend-Lease issue equipment. One of many things leased to the Russians throughout the war. There you go, Stonepan is going to finish off the engineers. Snipers are quickly taking up position in a series of bushes, and quickly Heinz drops down as if struck from afar by a high velocity round, which he actually was. Meanwhile, we're also seeing here that Fortune is getting very aggressive. In fact, he's pushing Volkers up here straight for the cut-off points. Very bold, and the scout here moving in. Attacking here, the Stormhunters need to fall back, trying here to get the snipers set. They might only get bullets lodged into their skulls. And we're already noting here very early mechanized regiment headquarters there for Fortune. Men falling back. Oh, so they're going further. Cut-off point is really determined to sort of deny resources to his opponents as much as possible. Also, of course, apply pressure closer, thus keeping Runtothesun closer to his space for the time being, getting more time to sort of secure territory here and there. So rather interesting play already here by Fortune. Despite the rather aggressive threat here of a scout car and the snipers here, the Volkers here, he might in fact have pushed his luck a bit too far, down to one man. Dieter makes a run for it. Run, Dieter, run! Try not to get cut down. But somehow the scout car pulls up a bit too far there. There you go, makes a turn, but there we go. Dieter makes it. Ja, run! Schnell! Pulling off quite successfully, the Volkers here making a good work there versus the conscript to kick Handgranate, sending a few Russians blowing away alongside parts of the well. Hopefully no one was caught down in it. Combat once more encountering the Volkers also getting pushed away there. So far, Fortune has made a good job keeping up the pressure on Runtothesun, keeping contained with a very small amount of territory. Not a lot connected. In fact, we're noting a second sniper team arriving for Runtothesun. Also named commanders, by the way, I should point out. Shock rifle, guard motor, mechanized support. Versus Fortune, who's in fact gone straight on here for Scavenge. Scavenge. Getting the fuel point over, he's likely going to see if he can't hold this up a bit further. We are seeing a scout here support by snipers moving in. Setting a sandbag position, though under fire might not be the wisest time to do it. And there you go, another poor soul lost. Interesting enough, he did not finish off that fuel pump. He might have been a bit too quick there to sort of move on. That can happen. It's only unfortunate when it does happen, though. Of course, question becomes, what will his response be to this? I mean, with this on the way, there might be an idea to sort of what's going on. He might, in fact, be rushing here via the flak half-track or a Puma, though the Puma might be a bit more useful in act turning down snipers plus the scout car. And missing a third sniper, and I'll certainly agree that I'm not a fan of snipers either, so while it might be a bit of a rude thing to say like that, I can't blame him for it too much. And here's the False goes under fire, commenting up in the scout car. Another man down, another, again. Snipers definitely doing their nasty piece of handiwork. Looks like there's been a drop within fuel, and there we go. Schwerer Panzerspielwagen Puma arriving. A 234-2. As there was all in all 4 variants of it. There was the regular one with the auto cannon on it, there's the Puma, and then one variant with a 75mm cannon, and one with a 75mm pack 40 mounted on it. There you go, moving in, and there we go, getting off some good hits there. There's a mine here though, so if he pursues he could hit it. Still got one engineer, kill scout, couple back here. Snipers have to be careful as well with a Puma prowling about like a cat with a 50mm cannon, which is generally not something you actually want to encounter, no matter how unfriendly terms you are with that cat. As any cat owner can tell you. But anyways, moving up here, firing away, striking into the base. Clearly not worried about anti-tank grenades. So he's getting very bold here, very bold. Though we do see guards in fact mechanized support out here for Runtothesun. So that's very interesting what he's playing here. And there you go, Puma spots another target. And there go M3A1. Now just scrap a numerical designation. But Puma here makes a good run for things. 2 snipers over here trying to clear out some German troops, but coming under fire from the Puma. Very close over there for the snipers. Oh, there we go. Did not survive an encounter there with the Schwerer Panzerspielwagen. Also, a little fun fact about it, actually had so it could drive sort of both ways. It had a set of seats as well, so it could be driven backwards easily as well. Little fun fact about that. I believe it was at the 231, but I'm pretty sure the 234 had it as well. So, little fun fact there about the heavier armoured car. Not what you'd usually expect. It was also a feature, in fact, Italian armoured cars had. Or at least one of their sort of more used ones had anyways. So basically it could drive backwards and forwards equally well. DP zipping equipped, Volkswagen on the run, down to 1 man. Very close shave there as well. We're seeing a Jäger infantry holding up here. Clearly sent in from a nearby Jäger unit, maybe to sort of provide support in terms of infantry and a bit of close quarters expertise, or well, terrain expertise here. Maybe they're all doing a bit around. Forced to fall back, in fact. Mine went off somewhere. Oh, there's the Steel Pioneers. They're leaving several men quite unhappy. Puma moving forwards here. Both snipers here could be caught. He might be trying to go for another attack there, the Jugular. Striking in there venomously with another Guardian on the way here. This time around, Runtothesun knows what's up. Very close to getting the snipers, very close to the machine gun turning into them. Guardian is arriving. Oh, he's driving a bit too fast over the turret track to keep up. And looks like the response for all the Guardians arriving caused him to quickly pull up without getting a single sniper kill. But at the same time, I mean, this is a rather nice pressure push, which actually forces Runtothesun to have to call all infantry away from the front line. So while he might not have done direct damage, he actually ends up doing something nonetheless, calling all the units back here to the headquarters, then basically wasting time then for Runtothesun. So a very nice play there by Fortune. Very nice play. In fact, if he hadn't, he could have risked losing snipers and other things. So good job there by Fortune. Well played. Well taken advantage of, in fact. There we go, grenade assault. Schnell, die Tasche, Stielhandgranaten. Also ones you've been collecting, stealing away from the quartermaster. But I'm the one that's going to get into trouble. Well, shut up. There goes snipers moving up. Guardsmen as well. Going to apply some pressure to the Germans, also knowing some Schurminen in the way. Puma getting repaired. Oh, a Stuka zu Fuß as well. Now got only one method of basically trying to catch the snipers in a well, shall we say, rather terminal fashion. And high explosive tag of, well, game of tag. Puma moving out again. Already veterans won, by the way. Aim shot can also be used against infantry, though, of course. I mean, it's not quite as effective, but in theory, you really want to sort of get one sniper, because I'm about to retreat, already one member down. You could basically try aim shot to basically get the other bastard on retreat. It's pretty much, I think, guaranteed to get the hilt, so that's a little something to keep in mind, as well as a little trick. Battle group headquarters up. Oh, looks like something got wrecked. Yes, Yuri, we destroyed sandbags. We are heroes of Soviet Union. I think you're mistaken, Doris. Why do you talk like that? Folks here taking some absolute thrashings there from the guards and the snipers. Might want to get them out of there, Fortune. Unless you really insist on them not experiencing any Fortune. Yeah, infantry continues to lock, but here, there we go. He's actually booby-trapped the point. Splendid work, splendid work.
Ready for action.
So far, no sign of shooting from the Sturkasufuss, or the Wurfrahmen 40, which basically refers to the frame itself. They are basically wooden frames, and they were actually used on not just half-tracks, but also some lighter tanks, some carriers they took from a French, sort of small armoured carriers, and even, you know, basically used in static fire positions, almost like a Nebelwerfer. It's a little fun fact there, for those not aware of it. But snipers are firing right, so it's only had some advanced snipers. Ghouls, in fact they had some of the better snipers in the war, partly because they actually trained for it. In fact, forces Germans sort of had to get around to doing the same. But Puma here doing quite well versus the guys from these part their anti-tank rifles. Holding up nicely there on the small hill before pulling back. So far no shooting, and there you go, looks like another Jaeger unit has arrived. Again, it sort of hold the point. Guards in the all here taking 2 losses. EVR 43 is doing what they can. Guards in fact taking quite a flashing. Snipers moving up as well. Guards will have to pull back.
Ready for action.
Well, Jaeger infantry will now. Looks like he might be sort of trying to buy time here to call off a rocket barrage. Straight up the backsides. There we go. Looks like already here he's figured out what's going on, thus negating the whole point of it. So close but not quite. Focus moving forwards here, and another mine there in the same spot. That's good. I mean, usually if one mine goes off, that's usually a good sign. Another one might do quite well as well. So nicely done there. Infantry are looking a bit worse way here for Fortune at the moment.
Squad, shut it. We are receiving new orders.
Squad, shut it. There we go, moving forwards in their camouflage uniforms. Puma continue to roll forward here, Fortune playing a rather aggressive game. He's not got so much to worry about, in part because there's no real field guns or anything brought up, nor any armor attempt here by Runtothesun, which is a bit interesting. He might be playing for something a bit bigger in the end, but looks like we do see a field gun here arriving. This is 3. Conscripts here in a bit of trouble. Rather close, and they're all 3 snipers moving out. I mean, it's rather some brazen stuff here to move back with 3 snipers. Field gun firing as well. That's if we're going to make it difficult for the Puma to do anything. In fact, he needs to pop smoke. There we go. Successfully escapes here a rather Russian hangover. Guardsmen moving up, going to ambush these folks because they're definitely not going to have a fun day. At the same time, they're also getting pushed back. Right here, he could pop off an infiltration grenade assault. They'd be rather close. Oh, he goes for a regular grenade. Holds a bit more expensive, which again costs 10, so not sure why I didn't go for that. Oh, another Volksman squad unit lost. Heavy losses right here for the... And there you go, another unit lost. Third SS clearly having sent some raw recruits into the fight with barely any training, which was quite common. And the 3rd SS in particular was known for having high infantry losses. Though of course they could afford it to a certain extent.
Crew stand ready.
In fact, most SS divisions could until the later stages of the war, like the last few months, where otherwise in fact they had larger infantry regiments compared to any other armoured and, well, armoured infantry division. Now the Jaeger unit here arriving, looks like everything's being done by the Jaegers now. Good scene. And there you go, field gun rather nicely spotting things up. Another bit of smoke. And once more the Puma. Oh no, he's... Make up your mind, Fortune, you could risk losing it. Oh, he baited him into retreating, he baited them in. No survivors. 4 snipers dead. He did lose the Puma, but on the other hand, he did get all those snipers. So I suppose it might have been slightly worth it. And there goes, he's actually calling in a flak panzer. He must be feeling confident in not having to worry about armor, because otherwise he's pretty much open to an armor to certain. I mean, if his opponent wants to get a T-34 and a T-70 right now, well, not a T-70, but then Fortune would actually be in a lot of trouble. He's got nothing to stop a tank right now, except maybe keep it at bay a bit with the flak panzer. So, rather pushing his luck here. But he must be feeling he has a pretty good idea what Fortune, or Runtothesun is doing here, to actually get a flak punch and then strike him down with.
Prepare yourselves. Crew ready. Hello.
Going straight here for the field, and there goes, he's actually clearing it out pretty handedly. Oh. Looks like he pulled out just a bit too soon, ensuring he didn't get the killing blow right there. Unfortunate. Well, it's a nice job mining, by the way, by Runtothesun. And again, booby traps, great. So many players neglect to lay down booby traps. It's great to see here that Fortune is making good work of it. Firing away there, getting off some good shots. Flak Panzer receiving repairs, and the Runtothesun almost ready to shoot again. A little fun fact about the SS, and when it comes to rockets, they actually had their own Katyushas made. Basically, they sort of captured some Katyusha rockets, then had them copied, and then basically set up their own Panzerwerfers or the likes of Raketenwerfers to sort of shoot them. So, little fun fact, they're not what you necessarily hear a lot about. He did actually have, looks like his Schwab headquarters about to get up by here. Not a bad position. It's only going to leave him further vulnerable to armors, and again he will have very little in the anti-tank department. It's in mind here, flak panzer moving forwards. Wreaking havoc there amongst the Russians. Looks like the Jaeger infantry is having limited success with the snipers. And there you go, engine damage, and in fact, engine destroyed. Scheiße. That's usually why you play a bit more carefully, in particular once your opponent has mines. Looks like he's finally getting some storm points to get a mine tree, well, at least I would hope so. And at this stage, he might want to learn the lesson. And there you go, the conscript's not in a good condition either, getting out of the jet, which, surprisingly enough, did not turn out to be very much of a fortress versus 30mm high explosive rounds. And there you go, Runtothesun striking down the units as we retreat, almost getting the unit there. Oh, he did get the unit on retreat. Nice strength there, also getting the field gun. Heavy loss around them, Runtothesun. And his space is certainly also looking a bit worse for wear, in particular the Special Rifle Command. Looks like now it's been pitched by some drunkard with anger management issues.
Pioneers reporting for duty.
And he's actually trying to scavenge the field gun right under his opponent's nose. Crikey, that was close.
Prepare for combat.
Right now things are a bit grim again, very much open to anti-tank, or well, any armour, but again, it rather seems like his opponent is very much insistent on the ISU-152. And of course the irony is, if he wasn't, he could probably already now be winning, because Fortune would be extremely open to it. Instead, he's actually probably a bit inadvertently executing his opponent in time to recover by waiting up for the ISU-152 here. So that's a little something to note. But there you go, the Jaeger infantry making a rather stalwart push up the central road. With the Stukas moving up. Not sure why he's moving up. I mean, he can provide a bit of light machine gun support, I suppose, there with its MG. But it's not ready yet to finally go salvaging the Flak Panzer. Going for here, I mean, he really sort of aggressive pushes there. Going for the cut-off point again and again. It's only punishing the slightly awkward round here we are seeing from Runtothesun. But he's getting very close here, just a bit more. Just a bit more. Then again, with the fuel he's not getting, that could be a lot more. Still very sort of different kind of match here. We got another barrage. Guardsmen still flanking in. This time around though, not so much damage actually inflicted. Got the field gun going. Oh, mine went off there! And the Storm Pioneers got wiped out. Still no minesweepers. I'm deeply surprised that Fortune is not getting any minesweepers, considering absolutely thorough Runtothesun has been actually with mines, though he can't actually lay down any more. And he's actually getting another Flak Panzer. I'm not entirely sure what is leading him to get another Flak Panzer. He must be feeling extremely confident that he's not going to get hit with any armor. I'm certainly a bit curious as to that. I mean, one T-34 right now, though again we haven't seen nothing like that. Though again he's bombarding the base, so he probably might be expecting to sort of see anything else pop up there. Either way, now he's actually got his second Flak Panzer, a lot of trouble already, getting buttoned down and hammered with anti-tank rifles and field gun fire. The infantry leading their way, but they are themselves also taking quite a hammering. And as for those of you by now wondering why I'm not casting a Monday, now it's fighting on the Monday, well, after the latest patch I didn't really receive a lot, and well, the ones that were, I don't know, I felt something was lacking in them, so rather felt like going for a regular match instead.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands. Make it quick.
Jäger infantry moving forwards. As always, vorwärts, Leute. And the Russians here about to get a nasty experience as they move for the victory point. Look, comrades, nothing terrible could happen to us here. Yes, let us walk nicely up to things and hope we don't get shot at. And there we go. Niet. Cruel fate. Why did you have to take so many of my comrades with you? Yeah, again, though barely holding on here, still getting a kill. I mean, he could have actually tried sprinting forward a bit to get a bit closer so they couldn't get so easily away. Just a thought there. But Flak Panzer getting all those vital repairs done, and there we go. Finally the RC-152 is ready. It's been quite the gamble here from Runtothesun. Not what you'd usually expect, but apparently the Guards Rifle Corps is expecting a heavy assault gun to try and break through here. Well, he's told the SS at bay until the mechanized corps can arrive. Flak Panzer strikes once more.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Carrying through the guardsman in question. Field gun sniper and RC-152 here with focused sight taking on the Schwerpanzer. Quarter Flak Panzer moving in here, trying to flank a bit, but there you go, button up again. Field gun firing, RC-152 turning back as well. You could see that Fortune's Flak Panzer going to enter into trouble. In particular now what he's realised is there's an RC-152 on the field. Now the Stuka barrage though, ready to save the day. Rather too late though to actually make much of an impression. And instead the IS-152 returns to the previous job of knocking the stuffing out of the Schwerpanzer headquarters. Quick attempt there to ambush it with a Panzerschreck. Didn't leave much of an impression there upon it.
You need the big guns. Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Repairs being done again here. That Flak Panzer still a bit of a piece of work there. Oh, he's using snipers to take the point and the booby trap. Wipe them out. Oh, the wonders of the booby traps. Oh, the wonders. Not what you'd usually expect to see or happen, but there you go. It's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is Well, a bit interesting. We're noting here that Runtothesun's actually doing more damage. He's almost got the same amount of kills. So in that regard, I mean, Runtothesun, despite, you know, having a much smaller force and certainly in some regards, you know, a slightly more awkward force, is actually holding up reasonably well. I mean, the snipers have turned out to be frustratingly good. And of course, the guard infantry's also done quite well with their DPs and anti-tank rifles. Now, of course, the field gun and the ISU-132 is going to promise a lot more pain to be delivered here upon Fortune's troops. I mean, one thing though he could consider is actually getting up some companies to partly help repair, but also get more fresh mines down, sort of again further make things awkward here for Fortune, his flak panzers and troops, because currently, I mean, he's not going to be able to replace those, and that could give Fortune a bit of a chance to sort of getting a bit more safely back in the fight. Also, he should consider something a bit more beyond the ISU-152. I mean, some more support weapons or some Strafniki or something else to sort of add a bit more map control might be a bit good, because currently that's going to be one of his issues. He's actually having a bit of a hard time going to hold all of the territory he has, so he's going to have to keep up the offensive and just keep striking away, and that could result in some problems if he makes one tragic mistake doing all the fighting. So he definitely needs something to sort of support all of this and make sure the ISU-152 doesn't have to work like a tank, which is going to be a bit of a tricky situation for it then. Looking at Fortune, I mean, he's not exactly looking good either, but he's got a bit more armor, he's got some artillery zone, he's got some infantry, and a Panzerschreck, so infantry-wise he's sort of a bit more middling, and certainly he's also taking some damage, but he also has the chance of doing some serious damage, and actually stuffing up several lives, and certainly a large threat to Runtothesun is the fact that Stuka needs to get something to knock it out, and the current force, yes, really can't do that, so that's another reason to maybe at least consider getting a tank battalion commander up and see at least a T-70 to sort of run it down. But right now we're seeing Pumas on the way. I mean, interesting to sort of get that. I mean, versus an ISU-152 and all the other few things that Runtothesun has, it could actually work. You can sort of catch the ISU-152 in a brief moment where Runtothesun is so extended, move it behind, and then the ISU simply can't respond to the Puma due to the lack of a turret. So that's something to keep in mind as well, sort of an option. I mean, getting a second one certainly wouldn't hurt either, and could certainly also apply a bit of pressure to the infantry. So I could certainly see it working as well. Otherwise, I mean, get another Schwerpanzer at quarters and aim for a Panther, or I suppose just save up for a King Tiger in the end. Though that's going to be a bit tricky under the current circumstances. So there are a few options here and there for him to sort of take. Some Storm Pioneers in mind, which would not be a bad idea, at least some more infantry. But anyways, back to Runtothesun and back to the fight. Definitely not your usual kind of fight though. Not what you see very often. There you go, Flak Panzer and Puma moving out. And someone dying like a hero over here to the Jaeger infantry.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
And there we go, Veteran T2 increasing their lethality. Well, actually just making sure things are less lethal to them really. ISU-152 moving forward here. And a quick sprint here, good job. They're actually trying to avoid the ISU-152. Fortunately, the snipers as well in the process. Flak Panzer moving up versus the Guards infantry. Guards infantry need to be very, very careful. There we go, nice hit there from the ISU-152, but there we go. Fortune senses his fortune and flanks about. Well done there, well done. We do see focus sight drop, sort of giving him a bit more maneuverability, but already now it's too late. The Puma has pounced. And the ISU-152 has gone from being the hunter to being the hunted. Jaeger moving up support as well. Field gun far away to help. The only thing that can help is basically the Guards infantry and maybe a bit of the ISU-152's 50 or Duskon top is actually doing a bit of damage to the rear armor of the Puma. And in the end, looks like that was actually what did it alongside the Guards infantry. So that was a little, you know, maybe not so expected, but I suppose can happen. If he had us another Puma with him, or the Flak Panzer, they might have succeeded. So a little surprise there. But there we go, acting against him, and you have to repair it. That's good, that is needed. Overall, though, Sun's forces are beginning to look rather runny. A bit hammered, if you will. And the Irish 1v2 in dire need repairs here. Before second Puma moves out and knocks it out. And there we go, in fact, the second Puma. CoH2 moving back as well. Jäger infantry moving out. And the Jaegers basically were sort of a light assault infantry unit meant for rougher terrain. They were a bit lacking in heavy weapons. Though on the other hand, but I saw a little fun fact there.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
And there you go, Jäger infantry forced back across the crossing. Another sniper on the way. He seems rather insistent on getting snipers, although at this stage things might not be looking quite so splendid for them. Puma strikes here versus the Guards infantry, though eventually he needs to be a bit careful of that. He could end up taking a lot of damage there. Ooh, getting snipers here with the Jäger infantry, and there we go. Veterans 3 and a sniper tot. Heckenschützen nicht mehr. Irish 1v2 though, surprisingly not getting much done actually. Partly against the sort of amount of force that Runtothesun has, which overall forces it to be a lot more reactive than active. Which allows sort of Fortune to keep sort of weaving about, ensuring it doesn't get much of a clear shot versus his forces. So in that regard, this strategy that Runtothesun is actually playing has some, well, flaws in it. And if only he had focused out now, and he might actually been able to see the CoH2 and knock it out. Instead, it's actually getting away. With Veterans 2 and thus an even higher rate of fire. We are noting the Puma once more ready. Gefechtsbereit. Alongside the Jaegers, closing in on Veterans 4 and 5. And we got the flak panzer over here covering up the entire western flank with no infantry support. The crew looking awfully relaxed here on top. There you go, Jaegers moving in. There we go. One hell of a shot there, wiping out most of the Jaegers, leaving them dying in the woods. Over to Fortune though. Flak panzers here rolling vorwärts. Apparently no panzers have really been released here for this part of the front. Just have to make do with whatever Jäger infantry can scrounge up as well to support its limited and motorized pool here. Another barrage. Not entirely sure what he's hoping to catch with that. Bit awkward. And now he's actually saving up here for munitions. I wonder what he's up to. Though he's getting a ton of munitions. I mean, he's getting 75 per minute. What could he be planning? He must have something in mind. He's not got a lot to upgrade. I mean, it could be a lot of booby traps. I suppose he could be planning something with the power shot. There we go, booby trap. Booby trapping is a victory point. Quick sprint here as well. Good use of abilities, by the way, here by Fortune. Very good use. He's been using Blitzkrieg, booby trap, sprint, grenades of different kinds, and scavenge. There you go, quick grenade assault as well. But in this case, it didn't leave much of an impression upon the Russians. They might as well have been throwing firecrackers.
Squad, shut it. We are receiving new orders.
Another barrage unleashed. He seems rather insistent on trying to get the IC-152 here.
Prepare for combat.
And did get the engineers repairing it as well.
Alert! Enemy infantry! Crew ready!
Runtothesun, he had a bit of trouble all of a sudden now. His forces have run into rather problem in terms of composition. Strength versus the more varied force here that Fortune possesses does allow him to sort of beat back the attempts here from Runtothesun a bit more thoroughly. And he's got artillery, a bit of different capabilities plus some infantry. And he's actually just getting more snipers. Or is he actually trying to aim for another ICU-152? And the entire left side is now booby trapped pretty thoroughly. And again another series of booby traps.
Standing by. Send orders.
Veteran D1 almost got the Jaegers there. Almost. Still I'm wondering what he's thinking with that. Wonder what he's thinking with that. It certainly strikes me as a bit peculiar. Besides all of those booby traps.
Squad, ready to move.
A bit rare to actually see a player use them that much. So it's actually nice to see. Looks like
Prepare yourselves.
it's coming under fire here. Second Puma on the way for Fortune.
Jäger, listen up.
Another barrage. And got the field gun. Artillery wreck there, another loss, and we see the entire crew there making a very hurried run for it. Apparently they had anti-tank rifles. Huh. That doesn't seem very usual. So Runtothesun here, definitely feeling a bit pressured. A bit more quiet, might as well speed this up a wee bit. Puma with the Jaeger fielding up there again, booby trap going off. Barrage available. Looks like he's very close to getting the guards in, in fact wiping them out utterly. And there you go, wiped out, leaning behind some anti-tank rifles on a DP light machine gun. Second Puma moving up, in fact he's getting 3 Pumas up now. Wonder what Fortune is thinking. Speeding this up a bit again. The match does seem to have lost a bit of spirit and energy. Bit of light shooting going on here.
You're ready. Send orders.
Runtothesun is desperately sort of trying to build up forces while at the same time holding on to some kind of victory point so he doesn't get completely forced off the field. But at the same time his unit composition is rather hampering it on his ability to push forward through the forces that Fortune possess.
Prepare for action. Fire on that infantry.
A few quick shots there. Black Panther firing away, and there you go, IC-152 got a nice hit there on the Black Panther. Also looks like he could call in another IC-152 now if you just get the manpower for it. Mine went off here, knocking out the engineer on the Puma, second Puma moving up. IC-152 could try and move in here and to support and deal with this. Of course, with focus sight, it's going to be a bit difficult. Fox going to get caught in the sign of fire. 4-6 later. Another Foster squad called in to pick up the DP and the anti-tank rifle. Quickly went up to cover up the retreat of the Puma. He's got a ton of munitions now. I wonder what he's thinking with all of this. Interesting enough, we've seen no munitions shoot sort of really beyond Runtothesun. I mean, he's actually got access to bombing strikes, but none of that is actually happening. By the way, he could use tracking right here to increase the line of sight without having to slow it down. And tracking does seem to occasionally be forgotten as an ability had by some Russian players, despite its otherwise great strength. Get a bit more speed here. He's rushing the Puma forwards. What is he planning?
Enemy fire!
What is he planning? And he's calling it in. And again, no, I mean, he's built a lot of munitions, so it's going to be calling down a lot of artillery right here. Almost getting the engineers there. So basically having stockpiled a ton of munitions. He calls in one hell of a barrage right there. So much artillery. And the Puma's basically hiding up there, popping smoke and shooting occasionally. IC-152s are moving in, there you go. Weapon support company is down. Puma knocked out. Tragic loss there of Wehrmacht material, but on the other hand, he's really managed to do quite a bit of damage. I mean, that was really vicious. Jäger. Is he going to do that again? I mean, he's got munitions to do it, without a doubt.
Armor car ready for action. Relay orders. They have forced into flanking position.
Nice, nice hit down the Flak Panther. Flak Panther needs to go. Oh, engine gun damaged. Scheisse. Nicht gut. Over to Runtothesun again. Flak Panther kaputt. Damage-wise, he's still ahead. Kill-wise, though, he's a bit behind now. And what is this? Inchnav again, no sign of the bombing strikes being utilised, but looks like he's doing it again. And again, no mines here either. I mean, that could have covered it, about what's about to hit come, I believe. Yes, indeed. Once more, a Wehrmacht artillery battery has been ordered in. Headquarters down, and in fact down to the Special Rifle Command. And there we go, destroyed and game over. Knocking out his opponent's base through sheer artillery firepower. Now that's actually been some time since I've seen that. That's more the province of the first company of heroes. But a rather interesting fight. And we saw some heavy sniper usage from Runtothesun, the scout cast, and lots of Guards infantry. But we saw then how Fortune sort of rather nicely rallied around it, made some good exploitative use of it, if you will. They're not on this normal exploitative, but basically sort of took advantage of the fact he probably wouldn't be able to control the map very well. Took advantage of any unit sort of trying to sneak back, and then struck with the Puma, forcing then Runtothesun to basically have to draw everything back to cover it up. That way, basically, Fortune managed to sort of play against the weakness here, which is actually map control, and sort of that way kept him contained. And rather Runtothesun had a very specific strategy. He never really seemed to adapt to what's going on, kept playing for the IC-152. And had he actually just played for a tank several times throughout the match, he could easily have won this. He would have actually have been able to force Fortune back because Fortune was extremely open. But that never happened. Instead, he allowed Fortune to build up a force and strike back. And also allowed to sort of let that Runtothesun do a lot of nasty damage to him. So there was some rather slight mistakes there from Runtothesun, which overall Fortune took good advantage of. Also very good use of abilities by Fortune, playing versus against, you know, the things here. Runtothesun also punishing him for actually having to use the sniper to take territory for it as well with the booby trap. So excellent work there as well. Though again, I have to point out, and again, you know, the thing that Runtothesun could exploit was also very much a huge weakness there for Fortune. I'm not entirely sure if that was calculated or not, but it was really open there to any armor assault. So that could easily have gotten very ugly. So that was a bit risky right there, but in the end it paid off. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, you know, send it to me if you want to provide some feedback in the comments. Also feel free to follow me on Facebook or Twitter. Links are in the description here for the video. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.